thank you so much for everybody for coming and joining us today. We are going to talk through Windows 10 becoming end of life and the journey you can go on into migrating to Windows 11. But we're weaving in how you may be best placed looking at Microsoft Surface as a device strategy to help do that. Probably pretty conscious that you guys have seen a lot of information out of Microsoft and all that sort of stuff. So what we wanted to try and do is keep this pretty high level, to be fair, to kind of just put a stake in the ground, I guess. We're obviously aware that, you know, everybody's device strategies are different. So we wanted to just put some high level kind of content out there for you guys, and then with the aim at the end, obviously, to reach out to us and have a conversation. So today's speakers, we're going to talk, be myself. So I'm the vendor alliance manager here at Chess. So my role is to look after the kind of strategy that Chess adopts, for example, here around devices and Microsoft. And I'm going to take you through this Surface element. We've also got Carla Mattingly on today, who's our device consultant at Chess. Thanks, Carla. Carla, sorry, I'm introducing myself here, but Carla is our guru around everything around devices. Carla, very kindly, by the way, so her laptop currently is not working, so she's very kindly doing it from her phone. So if we could all be kind, that would be great, and we could really demonstrate the kind of BYOD agility that Chess hold. That's great. First things first, I know we've got a mix of customers on here from some of our long-standing customers, customers that have worked with Chess over a long period of time. Also conscious we've got some net new kind of customers on here that we haven't really engaged with before. So I just wanted to talk around Chess just for kind of a couple of minutes. I hope that's okay. But Chess is an organisation, so we're 280 people strong, managed service provider based out of Manchester. We service around 18,000 customers within our business, and they kind of range from the small micro businesses all the way through to kind of enterprise sort of size customers, and we service them with lots and lots of different types of technologies, right? I think probably fair to say that we're kind of well known in the industry as a connectivity partner, delivering services like LAN, WAN, and mobile solutions and that type of stuff. But we have a whole raft of other solutions that sit outside of that we're able to support via managed services. So whether that's Microsoft Azure, so we can talk about Microsoft obviously today in the cloud, or whether that's SharePoint deployments from our digital team, whether it's any form of device that would sit across your network, your wireless estate, servers and storage, all of that sort of stuff. We have consultants that sit in our business, subject matter experts that sit to help to consult you on it, implement the solution, and help you adopt it over time. Who our customers are, you know, there may be a few of you here on here today. I can't actually see who's on, so hello if you're one of these customers on here. But we, as I've already said, we work with a wide range of customers, you know, whether that's in the public sector, whether that's in the professional services industry, whether that's in finance. We've got, I guess, kind of case studies and use cases for lots of different customer profiles that we've worked with over the years and hopefully have a good working relationship with. And the last thing I want to talk about Chess, and then we'll move on to the actual content, is kind of where we sit in the marketplace, right? So like I said, I think traditionally known as a kind of connectivity service kind of provider, but we are kind of much more than that. Obviously from a culture perspective, you know, we have been and are one of the best places to work for in the UK. And the last, I think it's sort of 15 years, we've been in the top 5 of the kind of best companies to work for. That we like to obviously replicate that as best, you know, experience for a customer to have as well, because the people like to work here. So that's great. So as it says, they're a great place to be a customer. But I want to talk around the accreditations and stuff as well, because we can talk about that at the end, right? But we are a highly accredited Microsoft partners. We can talk Microsoft today. You know, you can be confident that we've got the specialists, the specialisms, and the processes and technologies in place to help deliver what you as customers need us to deliver. Even from a Cisco perspective, right? So we're a premier provider with Cisco. There's a best-in-class kind of networking LAN WAN technology, and we can help deliver all services across that, right? So have confidence that we can help you with any of the projects that you guys have got coming up. That's everything about Chess. Thanks for kind of bearing with me for a second. I'm now going to kind of pass you over to Carla. You might hear next slide, please, because Carla's working from a phone. So a little bit of a kind of Chris Whitty throwback. Yes, Carla, over to you.
Brilliant, thank you. So good morning, everybody. So if we start with, support for Windows 10 is going end of life on the 14th of October 2025. So this is obviously known as end of support. So any device running Windows 10 will put your business at risk. So at the end of the webinar, we will send over and share the resources that you can see on this slide, and we can share them with you. So I suppose the potential impacts of Windows 10 going end of support, and what does this mean for your business? So after the 14th of October, Microsoft will no longer support kind of any bug fixes for any issues that may arise, no security updates, and then any kind of feature updates as well, which will leave businesses unfortunately vulnerable to these cyber attacks. So I think by looking at like the main challenges, so you've got increased security risks, so that's obviously becoming vulnerable as a business, compatibility issues, so making sure your current applications that you've got today will work with Windows 11. And then we've got operational challenges. So again, no bug fixes or then regular updates that we do see come through. And then you've got employee productivity. So, staying efficient, working smarter, that all kind of helps to support our business. So I think it's good to, take on the fact that Windows 10 can affect your whole business. So it can be anything from like your day-to-day tasks and productivity to your IT team who manage the device and security, right up to the leaders and the board members who are then responsible for the efficiency. So, why wait? So here at Chess, we've got many engineers that we can support with the transition from Windows 10 to 11. I'm working with lots of customers at the minute that are doing exactly that. I also then support in the background by like building out like personas around your business needs. So you might have a different persona for, an admin user to your regular finance, user, right to your CEO. So that, we can build them bespoke personas out and make sure you've got the kit in time and delivered in time for October the 14th. We are able as well, just to touch on it, you can buy kit outright, or we have got a great fair market value leasing that we, so we can support you with, either monthly or quarterly payments for the, your bigger orders. So the benefits, which I'd like to talk around for Windows 11, so it protects you against any threats. Windows 11 will send out, your latest security updates and your feature updates. Increased efficiency, so lots of new devices will come with Windows 11 and Windows 11 Pro, and this will obviously help support your business if you're looking towards an AI journey or Copilot, for example. Costs and employee satisfaction, so you've got new devices, they're easier to maintain, not so many, you might have people that kind of knock on that IT manager's door to say my device isn't quite working, so you can kind of reduce that kind of I suppose noise in the workplace. Then you can protect yourself against all the costly security risks as well, and then also you've got the new all the new features that you can use, and I'm sure there's plenty more to come around AI and Copilot. So simplifying the deployment of the devices. So if you haven't already, now's a good time to start making plans to move towards Windows 11. It's designed for compatibility with your existing applications that you're using for your business. So Microsoft are, and I believe there's a forum as well. So if you have got an application that is struggling to work with Windows 11, Microsoft will support to get that application up and running for you. Ourselves at Chess as well, we can support with this transition, and we can book you in consults with myself, to kind of dig deeper into your business. And how we do that, we can pull device reports, and almost do like a bit of a readiness check to check if your device that you currently have is compatible or not. Build out the personas like I mentioned, and then just obviously come to quotation and things like that for new devices. So here at Chess, we've got lots of different vendor relationships. We've got an account manager in HP, Dell, Samsung, Lenovo, so all of the kind of the top tier vendors, we've got really good relationships with them there. So we can go back to them and almost explain to them what you're trying to achieve as a business, maybe what your budget is and your time frames and things like that. And we can really kind of get some supported pricing locked in for you. For usually it's like 3 months at a time. And just alongside that as well, just for those of you that don't know, if there is any configuration that you may require, so if that's asset tagging or autopilot or anything like that, we can kind of support you there as well. So this slide, really, I just kind of want to give you a quick overview, of the previous slides. I get sometimes, there's lots of information to take in. But it's really just to remember, Windows 10 is going end of life. So the date will be the 14th of October. I did watch a webinar a little while ago now, but they did, one of the things that really stood out to me on that webinar was come the 15th of October, there'll almost be like a phishing email that goes around to say, click this button to install Windows 11. And those of you, you that haven't, or the businesses that haven't already installed Windows 10 will think, do you know what? Yep, let's click that button. They click that button, and then it can't, that's where the vulnerable threats will come. And I think we will unfortunately see quite a few of them. So that's just to kind of be aware of that. I suppose just kind of going back, I don't want to remember COVID too much, but within COVID, we did see lots of device constraints as well. So, we were waiting up to about 12 weeks at one point. There was different chipsets missing and things. So just bear in mind as a business, it's great to put these plans in place and things like that. You've got the educational sector that will, they leave school and college and things like that. So they will be doing exactly the same as well, trying to move over to Windows 11. So there's going to be lots of kit going out. So just bearing in mind really that there may be constraints. So, maybe give it a 4-week kind of period. So you've possibly got enough time to get some kit if you need it. So I think that's me for Windows 10 going end of life. If I've missed anything, or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them either at the end, or we can book in a consult at a later date.
Thanks, Carla. Thanks, Carla. I appreciate it. So and summarize that, I think we're all aware this is coming, and we need to make some plans around it. We at Chess, obviously, as Carla mentioned, have strong relationships across all of the what I'd say OEM vendors. However, we also have a strong Microsoft relationship. So and we kind of really think that what's best placed to help that transition is Windows 11, because is Microsoft Surface with Windows 11. And I think on top of what Carla was talking around, and I'm probably going to say AI lots of times on this, but I think all of the stuff around AI that's coming out, you need to find devices that can do AI at the edge, and I'm going to talk about kind of what that means in a minute. So I'm just going to take you through a quick kind of 10 minutes of kind of Microsoft Surface, right? And the first thing to talk about is well, the shift to a modern workplace, right? So it is rapid, and it creates imperative needs for organizations to keep pace with these kind of critical advances, right? So some of the primary considerations organisations are facing are, as I've already said, right, it's the investment in AI, right? So the pace of AI innovation and adoption has been, well, it's unprecedented, right? Kind of transforming how we work, how we learn, and how we communicate. Much of this innovation has been centered on AI in the cloud, where you've got massive amounts of data, computing power, enabling those advanced algorithms. You know, there's large language models and applications and stuff. But the next frontier of this is going to be on the edge, right? So where devices can process, act on that data locally without relying on the cloud, right? So on-device AI can offer things like lower latency on your network, higher bandwidth, greater privacy, and more autonomy, right, for the users of businesses that need kind of real-time, intelligent, and personalized solutions. The other shift would be, so you protecting those data. So Carlos already mentioned this, right? But there's only an increasingly complex cyber landscape kind of coming, right? And that's, driven by sophisticated nation state type actors and rising ransomware attacks and evolving fraud attacks and all those sorts of things, right? You can read the Microsoft Digital Defense Report of 2024. I can send the link out for you kind of after this that kind of talks you through all of that. If you saw only last week, so one of our main vendors had a ransomware attack on their business, right? That they remediated very well, and it was over very quickly, right? But nobody isn't vulnerable to this, so we need to make sure our devices are compliant around all of this, right? This obviously leads to the evolving employee needs, I guess, right? So customers, companies that foster innovation and collaboration, continuous learning, empower employees to produce this kind of quality work, want to do it with less stress, right? So the future of work is defined by how that work is done. So changing employee perceptions and driving better satisfaction. This freedom, I guess, allows employees to excel and perform better. And obviously, as a business, it will deliver better business outcomes for you, right? So the shift to this modern workplace is the most significant, I would say, of a generation, right? With the combination of AI and all this sort of stuff kind of coming, right? So it is a big shift. So we need to make sure that you guys are resilient, agile, and capable of sustaining operations, as I said, AI at the edge and all that sort of stuff, right? And last but not least, right? So enabling the modern work, right? So a future fit, as it says there, right? So IT teams are always being asked to build these future fit technology strategies, and the other terminology that comes out. But if you, according to people like Forrester, and again, I could send this out afterwards, but an approach to technology that enables a company to quickly reconfigure these business structures will help to meet future demands, and actually a lot of flux in it, right, as well. So there is a big shift. So how can Surface do this for you, right? So how can Microsoft Surface be all that can be, right? So Microsoft Surfaces are built for the modern workplace, right, and the modern workforce. That they're not reactionary to the times or some kind of bridge or plaster to kind of cover until the next big thing comes out. They're an understanding, I guess, of change and potential, right? They embrace the ever diversifying workspaces and work styles to kind of match how people want to work today, and they have the ability to kind of grow with the people and the kind of evolutions of work that's happening tomorrow, right? So at the highest level, if you look there, you can see it's performance with agility, proactive protection, and as I keep saying, future ready for AI, right? So I'm going to talk about AI again, just because it's really key, especially, I was listening to somebody today around the new Google Gemini video flow that's kind of come out. It's incredible what AI can do, right? So we've all got to be ready for it, right? But the AI capabilities resonate strongly with those workers, right? So with AI assistants, we talked about, workers can really maximize their impact, right? So whether that's Copilot, whether that's ChatGPT, whether that's Gemini or whatever they are, you know, they're all there, and workers really want to start to utilize them, right? So Surface can bring the best of that, but also the best hardware and software together, right? So you can multitask with essential business apps and enhanced workflows with Microsoft Copilot. Obviously, we're a Microsoft partner, so we talk Copilot. But you can collaborate with, you know, premium video experiences. You can take better notes on the screen with on-screen inking and access fast, secure mobile connectivity, right? So Surface is built by Microsoft. The device is easy to set up. It's secure straight out of the box. So for IT, it offers layers of proactive defense measures like zero trust security. So it will enable AI capabilities to evolve and kind of counter the rapidly advancing kind of global threats that are there. And then from a management side, they'll simplify deployment with a zero touch solution. I'll go into a bit more of that in a bit. But they enable things like remote monitoring and single centralized place to kind of manage them. If you can do that, obviously Chess can help do that as well, and I'll talk you through what that means. Okay, so when upgrading to Windows 11, you'll need devices that work the way that your employees work, right? So when, how, and where they want, while allowing your IT teams to modernize, right? So from device management all the way through to defense strategies. As the only devices made by and for Microsoft, Surface will provide the best-in-class Windows 11 experience. So Surface devices designed and built by Microsoft, they'll deliver across Windows 11, Microsoft 365, Copilot, and many more apps, right, including apps kind of outside of the ecosystem. So by choosing a Microsoft designed device, optimized for Windows, as I've said, you'll be invested in a product that, you know, offers that seamless experience across not just hardware, but software and cloud services to I guess give you that premium experience. And as you can see from these data points here, I didn't want to read them out for you, but you know, as you can see from those data points and the kind of customer quotes at the bottom, Surface and Windows 11 provide those key benefits to, you know, to perform, be efficient, be compatible, and be secure. So what I wanted to kind of detail out for it, like I said, I appreciate this is extremely high level. We haven't got into huge details, but I want to just plan out a journey with you on how we can help at Chess help deliver this, right? Because every customer is different. Every customer is in a different place altogether. So I just wanted to kind of talk you through our thoughts on what a kind of journey looks like for you to modernize up to Windows 11, right? So starting the Windows 11 project, right? So how are you going to fund the Windows 11 upgrade, right? So come and talk to us. We can help look at devices. We've got tools to help look at what devices are unsupported. We can help you identify the kind of gains from the latest AI advancements and all that sort of stuff. Talk you through the out-of-box security that comes with it. Look at some kind of cost-efficient management stuff and much more, right? But in essence, we can help you build a plan, help you fund the plan through deal registrations and some of the Microsoft funding programs that's available. I'll go into this in a second. We're a highly accredited Microsoft partner, so we can tap into a lot of funding things. But let's start to look at devices that are on site and what we're doing, right? Which leads us to auditing the devices, right? So let's audit the devices to determine what the refresh needs, right? So we can audit your current fleet of Windows devices. We can look at the eligibility, and we can determine how many of those devices need to be modernized, right? If concerned about things like app compatibility with Windows 11, I did see a question that a customer just posted in the chat around are their apps going to be compatible across 10 and 11? Most apps will be, by the way, due to the kind of backwards compatibility. However, again, whilst we're auditing, we've got eligibility tools and what's called the App Assure program to help identify ones that aren't and how we can help move them across. But I'd say in the main that they're all backwards compatible anyway. Number 3, right? So after we've audited them, let's explore hopefully service devices. As Carla says, we do others, but as we're talking service, so let's engage us some more, engage Carla specifically, and learn about the value of Microsoft Surface. Right now, I'll be the first to say that, you know, at face value, Microsoft Surfaces aren't the cheapest machine out there. I'm sure we all know this, right? However, actually, if you look at the value they can bring to your business in terms of even things like if you need repairs done, they're modular laptops, right? So you're able to remove stuff out and re-put new batteries in, so they're not sealed, so that they have a longer value time. They have a much higher residual value. So if you look into Carla mentioned it, kind of lease products and all this sort of other stuff, that they have a high residual. So we can help build you an ROI and a TCO against Surface to make that clear for you, right? Then what we do is we plan for the zero touch deployment, right? So again, work with our highly experienced consultative team, and we can help you understand how Surface will work with the kind of Microsoft first party tools, right? So Intune, Windows Autopilot, so we can offer chip to cloud type security and enable fast deployment and simplify all device management in the cloud, right? So again, you can work with us, we can help build that for you. And then I've kind of touched on this already, right? But Chess can help build the case for Surface for you, right? So Microsoft have got really good total cost of ownership tools, and even things like emissions calculators, right? So we can really build a case that shows benefits, costs, and if you have sustainability ambitions, Microsoft Surface is a really good partner to choose to help do that. And we can share the report output with yourselves and other decision makers around your business, so we can build you a really good, solid use case. So when you transition from 10 to 11, choosing Microsoft Surface. Number 6, hopefully purchase the devices from there. Now, as Carla's already said, when you're finalising your purchase with Chess, we've got many routes commercially to kind of look at, right? So we can look at financing them, we can look at leasing them. We've got deal registration capabilities in place to ensure you get the best discounts kind of at the right time. But again, we can work with you across that whole proposition. It isn't a kind of go onto our web store and kind of click to buy, right? We want to help you across every phase, right? Doesn't just stop there. I think, you know, I'm sure we've all worked with people in the past who, after the PO's been received, that's kind of it. That's definitely not where we sit in the market. We're all about the next part after this, right? So once we've consulted with you of doing the Windows 10 to 11 migration, consulted with you around the best laptop to get, hopefully Microsoft Surface, but like I said, we do the OEM products as well, so Lenovo, Dell, HP. But then we want to help you deploy, manage, and protect those devices ongoing, right? Now at Chess, we offer fully managed services around that. We have remote management tools to kind of help do that. And we can obviously work with you across things like Intune and Autopilot to ensure that deployment support and protection is all in place for you. And except we've got some good customer case studies and use cases. So if you needed to look into our pedigree there, not a problem at all. And then probably important, a really important point, right, is how do you prolong the life of them, right? I've already said that they have a high residual value, but if you look at things like so if you want to prolong the life of devices, so Surface Pro 10s, the Laptop 6, and the Copilot Plus PCs, right? they are designed with serviceability in mind, right? So there's built-in QR codes in them. So if you open a Microsoft Surface laptop, within the parts, there's QR codes, so you can scan those codes, and it gives you access to instructions and replaceable components and all that sort of other stuff, right? So, you know, if you look at other laptop models out there, if something goes in the laptop, it's gone, right? And you kind of throw it away, and you have to, you know, find a sustainable way of kind of doing that. However, the way that services are built, they're built with serviceability in mind, right? So they have a much longer lifespan, which obviously helps with kind of total cost of ownership stuff as well when we're building the plan. And then how do we recycle them, right? So again, through Microsoft and other partners we have responsible ways of disposing of old laptops and old machines, right? So if you've got a lot of older machines that you need to trade in, we have ways to help responsibly move those on. I'm sure we could all look in our desk drawer right now. There's probably a couple of phones in there that we're not using, right? So as a business, it could sprawl pretty easily, and you know, we don't want everyone to feel kind of overwhelmed by that. And you know, there's plenty of trading programs and all that sort of stuff that we can help you leverage there. I hope that kind of makes sense around the journey, right? But it is the start of consulting all the way through to the life cycle of the thing that Chess want to help engage you in. Like I said, starting from going from Windows 10 to 11, consult you around that, all the way through to the device strategy. And yes, if it's service, great. If it isn't, then that's fine. And we can help everything kind of outside of that. The last thing I wanted to touch on, which I talked about right at the very beginning, was Chess as a Microsoft partner. Like I said, I think sometimes we're perceived as a connectivity partner. We are one of the top accredited Microsoft partners in the country. So we have 5 out of the 6 solution designations with Microsoft, right from infrastructure, so Azure, all the way through to digital and applications, right? So SharePoint and all that sort of other stuff that kind of sits within there. Modern work, but we've also got specializations. So if you're looking at Teams calling, or even some pretty smart stuff around Microsoft security, we've got specializations that sit in those zones as well, right? So you can have complete confidence that we can deliver this for you. Yeah, so I've got any questions here, but actually I've realised we haven't got the format to get people to ask questions. But what I can do is I'll send out the deck to everybody that took part. So I'll share myself and Carla's information. Carla's information's here. I'll share our information out afterwards. I'll share the links out to the stuff that we spoke about. Appreciate it was pretty high level, but we want to work with you guys individually. Understand if you have a device strategy in place, can we help? If you don't have one because you're not sure how to start one, we can help. If you're halfway through and need help, we can help. But all of those things, right? We want to speak to you and help you kind of make that transition before October, and as Carla says, before devices potentially might start becoming scarce. Who knows? But on that note, thank you so much for your time. I'll give you 25 minutes back here. Thanks for everything, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.